So The Weeknd just did an interview with Variety magazine that was supposed to release yesterday. I don't know exactly if it has officially released, but we do have the article, and obviously this is a big deal because The Weeknd, well, he doesn't really do interviews, and so this definitely gives us an insight into Hurry Up Tomorrow, the album and the film. So I'm gonna read certain chunks of this article because I did actually read through it. So there is a few parts that I want to just talk about because other stuff was just kind of, recapping The Weeknd's career, giving kind of obvious answers and just talking about the Idol a little bit. That's worth mentioning. The Weeknd kind of talked about the criticism for that show, but I'm going to cover the stuff that talks about Hurry Up Tomorrow, the album and the film, because now we have a little bit more of insight. And again, The Weeknd doesn't really reveal too much in this interview about the album, but there is some stuff that is quite interesting and definitely can lead to a conversation in this video. So the first part of this interview that I want to talk about is how The Weeknd was inspired by what happened at the SoFi Stadium concert where he lost his voice. So he said, I had a good chunk of the album done, but then SoFi Stadium happened and other things happened after that. And you go right back to the drawing board, The Weeknd says, because this was really an important pinnacle moment in my life. How could it not be? As an artist, you're telling a story, so you get under the hood and try to figure out what's going on. In the process, I got closer and became more grateful. I know it sounds cliche or soft or whatever, but it's the truth. I've been working on myself not to push people away. Was that a problem before? Yes, he says. How come? I don't know, he replies. As he worked on the projects, getting hard with the moment of this could all be gone. It's almost like my whole life flashed before my eyes, he recalls. And then I started thinking about my family, my mother and father, the people in my life. It's just really hard to, I didn't think I'd get this deep into it. Okay, so interesting. And he actually goes on throughout this interview to talk about, oh, geez, I'm getting blinded by the light. No pun intended. He actually talks about a lot in this interview how the SoFi Stadium show inspired this album heavily because he did lose his voice, and I think that definitely inspired him to really contemplate, oh, this could be gone in an instant. I could lose everything that I have within a second. So definitely interesting. And then the next part of this is that the final leg of the After Hours Till Dawn tour is going to be continued with the Hurry Up Tomorrow era. And it says right here that its final legs launched this year. So we're going to get obviously a tour announcement. We've been known that. And presumably carry into 2026 and possibly beyond. So that definitely hints at, obviously 2026 and then even maybe beyond 2027. It seems like The Weeknd is probably going to continue with this tour for a long time. So it seems like the Hurry Up Tomorrow era is going to be a quite lengthy one, and that would make sense given that it might be the last The Weeknd era that we ever have. So if he wants to really push this out and really tour this album, and yeah, it seems like it could be a couple years before we truly say goodbye to The Weeknd because he'll be touring on this album. So very interesting. 2026, and then obviously the tour announcement will come this year as well. He also says during this interview, after a couple of references to closing this chapter, he asked which chapter exactly is he referring to, the After Hours trilogy or his existence as The Weeknd. After a 30-second pause, he said, I would say my existence as The Weeknd. So yeah, I touched on this a little bit, and yeah, The Weeknd is retiring. This is going to be the last The Weeknd album. He says he's going to continue making music, but probably under his real name, Abel Tesfaye. So yeah, this is going to be the final Weeknd album. So very interesting. We've kind of known that for a while, but he again confirms it furthermore in this interview. Then the next part that I wanted to talk about, he also says he talks about the movie a little bit, and it's not too detailed, but it definitely gives us a little bit of insight into what the movie is going to be about. He says, the film due May 16th via Lionsgate is a suspense thriller co-written by and starring The Weeknd alongside Jenna Ortega. So we've known this. Loosely connected to the album. So yes, it is going to tie into the album. There was questions about that. Is it going to be a separate thing? Is it going to be, tied? And it seems like it's going to be loosely connected. It says loosely connected. So yes, the album will probably be a little bit separate. And as we know, there's not really too much of a clear-cut concept when it comes to this trilogy. While yes, he died in After Hours and then is in Purgatory and Dawn FM, there is kind of some abstract themes that aren't very concrete. So it would make sense that this movie is going to be similar to that, where it's kind of a loosely connected. Let's see. Okay, while The Weeknd, who turns 35 in February, shies away from revealing details about the film, again, he doesn't really speak too much about it. He says it continues the After Hours theme of his character struggling with sense of self and delves deeply into the psychologically of fame. Sorry, I can't speak. Both the film's original script and the new album were overhauled to incorporate the after effects of The Weeknd's experience at SoFi. So I actually think there was rumors that there is going to be the Rose Bowl show incorporated into this movie, so we could see a recreation of the SoFi Stadium thing where he loses his voice or something similar to that with the film. So because it definitely said right there that there's going to be incorporating events of the SoFi Stadium gig into the movie. So that's going to be very interesting. Maybe he'll lose his voice. Maybe something else will happen in the movie. But yeah, again, it says continuing the After Hours kind of character. So obviously we could look at the After Hours music videos and kind of, I'm going to be diving deep into that era in a few videos, like maybe in a couple days. I'll do a recap of the After Hours story and then a Dawn FM recap before Hurry Up Tomorrow comes out. So stay tuned to the channel for that. But yeah, I think we could definitely look at some themes from that album and connect it to the movie when that comes out. Obviously, a lot of the themes that The Weeknd touched on in After Hours, in the music videos and stuff, those themes were already pretty massive within his catalog and just all his albums. So it's pretty safe to assume. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, he doesn't reveal too much, and The Weeknd doesn't really do too many interviews. And when he does like this, it's not going to be anything too crazy. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure we're going to get a trailer for the Hurry Up Tomorrow movie. And we're weeks away from Hurry Up Tomorrow, the album. Sorry, my camera is really bugging. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. Did I miss anything from this interview that you thought really stood out and was really important? Definitely confirming furthermore that The Weeknd will be retiring after this album. So yeah, very interesting stuff. Let me know in the comments down below, and stay tuned for tons of content regarding Hurry Up Tomorrow, because I will be doing that. I'll be doing a recap of After Hours and then Dawn FM, the story thus far, and then everything you need to know about Hurry Up Tomorrow video. So stay tuned to the channel for that. Like, subscribe, and leave that comment.